Yeah, good day, guys. You are welcome to class, and then I hope the last class went good for us, and hope we are putting whatever we are learning into practice. Because, like I mentioned in my first class, this class is totally different, right? Because we are writing whatever we are doing, we are writing our code from scratch, and then I don't just want us to do theories, divinations. I don't want us to do that because if we should do divinations, it's very easy. I can just get divinations from Google and then I will just put it in my slide and then yes, we'll be learning divinations theory, but we won't be able to put whatever we're learning into practice, right? But as we are doing it, writing our code ourselves, learning all these things from scratch is gonna help us to get that foundational knowledge that we need in programming, uh, in code writing, which gonna help us whatever career we want to venture into. If you want to go into cybersecurity, um, whatever we are learning right now, it's a foundation for you to build on. And then, if you want to choose another career path, uh, data analysis, you want to go into any other career path, software development, any other ones, this is going to help you. So this is like your foundation for you. So as you can see, the slide we have today is seven slides, right? Seven slides, including our assignment. So that means six slides. But we're going to be going to our Visual Studio Code to spend a whole lot of time there, right? Um, so let's start today's class. Here's class 4. Our goal today is basically simple. Should I say simple? No, it might not be simple because as the class is progressing, right, it's gonna be getting tougher. But if you're following it, you're doing the assignment, you're practicing, it's not gonna be difficult for you, right? It's not gonna be hard for you, I promise you. But if you skip any class, it might be hard for you. So try to make sure you watch the video if possible over and over again and practice, practice, practice. So our goal today is conditionals. So we're going to learn. Oh, where's myself? Let me just look this. So we're going to learn conditionals. We're going to learn for loop, if statement, else statement, while loop. Yeah, we're going to learn all of them today. So what are conditionals? They call them conditional statement. So program really gets really interesting when we can test conditions and change the program behavior depending on the outcome of the test. So it really gets interesting when we're doing programming. If we can test our condition and we can change that condition, we're going to understand what we mean by condition. Condition is going to get more clearer. So right here, Boolean, Boolean value and expression. So I put a little history right here. I said a Boolean value is either true, take note of that, either true or false. So anytime you hear Boolean, know that they are talking about true or false. It is named after a British mathematician, which is George Boole, right? Uh, he was the one that invented the formula. It is a Boolean algebra, right? So now in Python, the two Boolean values are true, pay attention, true and false. And the capitalization, yeah, I was correct in the first place, must be exactly as shown, which means uh, it must be true. It is case sensitive, which means it has to be capital letter, True and False. So take notes, it must be capital letter, right? So let's do a little practice. So let's try something. Let's go to our command prompt to use it to try something. CMD, remember that command prompt, and then we want to go to Python from here. What do we have to do? Hope we remember our first class. We have to type Python, enter. Now we are now in Python environment. So do you remember in our first class we try type and then we try this. Let's say type. You remember what is type? We want to check the type of what is type of this. So if you press enter, it's going to tell us the class. The class type is integer. Do you remember? The class type is integer. So if we try this type, let's say 3.6, uh, we should know what this is supposed to bring now. What do we supposed to get? What class does this falls into? So do we remember? Okay, so let's see. It is float. A float is always uh, an integer with a decimal, right? So if we say type and we do true, is gonna give us a boolean, right? Because we want to check what class does true falls into, right? So if we do type and false, is we are going to get boolean. They are both boolean. So if we do type and then we do true, it's going to give us an error, right? This is an error. Python is saying I don't recognize what you're saying, right? Because like I mentioned, it is a case sensitive. We have to put a capital letter T if we are typing the true, right? So that is that. So we understand that now. So let's go right here to understand these rules. Should these be operators or rules? So it equals to anytime we are working with conditionals, conditionals. Uh, the double equals to right here is not an is not to assign a value, right? It's not to assign a value. So we remember our variable. Let's say we do um we want to type 10 equals to 3, right? If we type 10 equals to 3, that means we have assigned 3 to 10, right? So if we do, um, if so now 10 is 3, right? So, but it's totally different when we are doing 10, 3. This one is totally different. That's just what I want to point out. The first one is variable. The first one is variable. So if we do 10 now, we're going to get 3, right? Because we have assigned this thing as variable. But if we do this totally different, it's a different ball game, which we are going to learn today, right? So both of them are not the same. 1 equals to is totally different from 2 equals to. Um, yeah, this operator. Yeah, so let's check these rules. I put this rule here. I said x double equals to y. So it produced true if x is equals to y. So this is a comparison, right? We are doing a comparison between a value and a value. So we are doing a comparison. So what this statement right here means, what this double equals to, we're comparing x and y. Are they equals to each other? Do we understand? Yes. So This is something we should all go through. Let's go through this. You can pause the video and read this. The definition is in front of it. So study it and understand it. So let's proceed to our next slide. But like I mentioned, study this and understand them. This is what it means in front of them. Like X exclamation equals to Y. It means X is not equals to Y. So the exclamation means is not equals to Y. So like that. So we should understand some of these. We have done them in our mathematics, right? Greater to lesser than. Also, let's proceed to our next slide. So condition statement in Python. So what are condition statements? Condition statements are used to execute certain code only if a particular condition is true. Note that they're used to execute certain code only if a particular condition is true. So that means if a condition is true, yeah, we're going to use to execute our code if a condition is true. I'm going to give us the code. We're going to understand it better when we get to the code part. They help in decision making by allowing the program to react differently to different inputs or situation. Yeah. So why do we use them? We use them to control overflow of execution based on conditions. And secondly, examples include checking user input, validating data, and making decisions within a program. So let's just read it and understand them. But like I said, we're going to understand them better when we get to the coding part. In this case, we're going to understand them in coding, right? It's going to get more clearer to us when we get to coding. Um, so, introduction to, we're going to get back to this later. Um, let's get back to this while look later. So, get back to our slide. Let's go to our Visual Studio Code. So, I have some exercise here that we're going to do today. So, like I said, practice, practice, practice all this code yourself. Type them and practice them. So right here, let's explain this code. We remember this x equals to 20. What is this statement? This right here is a variable, if you remember. So we are assigning 20 to this x. We are saying x is equals to 20. Now, this is our if statement. We are saying if x is greater than 10, right? Print x is greater than 10. I'm going to repeat myself one more time. Now we should be able to be reading code and understand what they really mean, right? Because these are fourth class, of course. So right here I said x is equals to 20. So that means I'm assigning x to 20, right? This is a variable. These are condition right here, condition statement. I said if is one of our condition statement. I said if x, this x, right, this x, if x is greater than 10, that's why I said we should study this right here, because you see something like that, we have a greater than here, right? So we should study this as operators so that we can know when to use them and how to use them. So back to the code. I said if x is greater than 10, remember after we input our condition statement, we have to put a column, right? This is a column right here before proceeding. And we now said print x, this is a string, right? So print x is greater than 10. So if we run this code, what do we think is going to happen? What do we think? Just think about it. If we run this code, x is equal to 20. If x is greater than 10, print x is greater than 10. Okay, let's run it. So boom, this is our result right here. So of course, yes, x is greater than 10 because our x right here is 20, right? Our x right here is 20. So yeah, it's printed x is greater than 10 for us because of the condition that is here, right? So, but what if our x is 30? What do we think is going to happen? It didn't print anything, right? We are not getting anything. Why? Because, like, you remember the condition where we are defining condition statement. The condition is the condition that we are giving the program, right? Now, the program doesn't meet the requirement of the condition, so we are not getting anything. So, what if x right here is 5? What do we think? What do we think? Let's say 5 right here. What do we think is going to happen? X is greater than 5, right? X is greater than 5. Why? Because it meets that condition um, that we have right here. So we are still going to get there. I want to say something, right? There is a way we can do it. I put 30 over here, and then if I run the code, of course, we're not going to get anything, right? But there is another statement that is called else statement, right? That we can add to this program. I don't want to jump ahead, but I just want to mention that is going to check this condition that we have here. So now I said if x is greater than 30, print something, but x is not greater than say than, than 30. It's not going to print anything, right? But we can add another condition that is called else. Now do this. Instead of this program to just go blank like that, we can add else statement. So that means it's going to check the if statement first. If the program does not meet the requirement of the if, then it will now go to else. Just like I said, oh, this 100 naira help me to buy a mineral. So if mineral price, I mean drinks, if drinks mineral price is 80 or 100, buy it. Else, that means if it is 100, I'm going to buy the mineral, right? But what if it is 120 and I have 100 naira? If it is 120, that means I'm not going to do anything, right? But now, if I give you a condition that else if the mineral price is more than more than 100, buy table water. So that is the function of that else. So that means if the first condition is not fulfilled, we can still fulfill other conditions. We will get to that. I just explained that I can use one stone to kill two birds. So, but this is the if statement right here. We get it? Practice, practice, practice. So let's go to number 2. There is another one right here. So I said something right here. I said a Boolean expression is an expression that evaluates to produce a result, which is a Boolean value. Yes, I've mentioned this in the slide that if double equals to does not mean uh, to assign a value, right? So let's check this program. It's very interesting. So let's start it from the first program. Let's comment this out. We remember the comments. If we comment something out, that means our program is not gonna Python is not gonna execute that thing when we run it. So that means I've commented this out. I've commented this out as well, and I've commented all this thing out. So Python is not gonna run them. This is just for us to read. So this program right here, it said print 6. It says 6 equals to 3 plus 2. So I comment something here. I said it's 5 equals to the result of, okay, let's do something. Yeah. So let's put 5 right here. So it's 5 equals to the result of 3.2. So 3 plus 2. So right here, print, we want the program to print 5 That is it equals to 3 plus 2? What is 3 plus 3 plus 2 is 5, right? Now I'm saying that are they the same value? Now I want to ask Python. Now this is a Boolean expression, of course, right? This is not a calculation. But let me run the program, you understand better. So let's clear this out. If I clear right here and I type enter, it's going to play. So you can always do that to have a very neat workspace. So let's run this program and see. You see what we get? It said true, right? Because we are we this is a condition statement, right? We're asking Python, is 5, is it equals to 3 plus 2? That's the question we are asking Python. Is 5 equals to 3 plus 2? So Python said, yes, 2 is true. They are equals to each other. So do let's do 7, right? So what do you think is going to be the answer for this? Because we are asking, is 7 is it equals to 3 plus 2? What is 3 plus 2? So let's try it. Let's run it. Python is saying false. It's a false. It's a Boolean statement, like I mentioned. It's true or false. So that's for this. You can practice this. So, but let's comment this out and let's run this program. So what do we think is going to be the answer for this? Okay, let's run it and see. I was asking that is 5 equals to 6. Is 5 equals to the value of 5? Is it equals to the value of 6? Python said no, it's false. So let's do is 6 equals to 6. It's true. 6 is equal to 6, right? So practice, 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 practice this, practice this. So let's clear this out. Let's run another one. So this is quite lengthy. So what do you think is going to be the result of this? Can you read this, read this program and see if you can understand it? So let's read it and let's see if you can understand it. I said J equals to, I'm assigning L, H-E-L to J, right? This is a variable, right? Uh, J equals to H-E-L, and then I now say result equals to J plus L O equals to hello. And I'll set print the result. So what I'm doing right here, this is a variable J. If I said print J, I'm just gonna get HEL. If I say print J, I'm gonna get HEL because J is HEL, right? But I'm saying result equals to J. This is our J right here. Our J is HEL, right? J is HEL right here because we have assigned HEL for J. So we are calling J, we are calling the variable of J. We are saying plus, we've done this. We did this in our last class whereby we had two variables together, right? So we're saying J plus LO, which is gonna give us LO. Now I'm asking Python that is this LO, is it the same with this statement right here? I'm asking Python, help me to compare them. It's J plus LO equals to this LO. And now set print the result. Let's see. Run. It said true because they are the same. But what if I type right here, I said good morning. So I'm asking Python, is the result of this equals to good morning? What is J? J is HEL, and we're adding J plus L and O. So are they the same? Let's run it and see. Are they the same? Of course they are not the same because they are totally different. Good morning is different from this. Hope we get it. Practice, 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 practice it. So let's do another one. Let's do follow. It's gonna be interesting. This one is interesting. So let's clear this out. So this is a follow, right? It's called follow. So what we are doing right here, we are saying for f in all these number, right? This is a list of numbers. This is a list. We list names, right in a not a bracket, yeah. But we list a. We now said for f in all this name, we now said equals to invite is our variable equals to I plus. Actually, this was what I wanted to show in our last class, but I said I'm going to show us today. I now said invite equals to I plus f. What is our f? Do we know our f? What is f? F is this. This is our f. We now said, please come to my party on Saturday. I now said print invite. What do we think the result is going to be? Let's think about it very well. It said for f in all these things, right? What is our f? This is our f, right? Now said invite is equal to I. Invite is a variable, right? Invite is equal to I. I now added plus this f. What is our f? This is f. I now continue my statement and I said, please come to my party on Saturday. And I said print invites. So the first question I asked the Python to print invites. One, what is our invite? Number two, if we understand our invite, we should be able to know the result of this code. But let's try to run it and see. But in case if you get it, that's very nice. It means you're following us. So let's run this code. Boom. Do you see what we got? See what we got? It said, hi, Zoe, please come to my party on Saturday. Hi, Brad, please come to my party on Saturday. Hi, Angelina, please come to my party on Saturday. Same. He mentioned the name of all these people in this F because this is our F, right? Our F is all these names. Now I'm assigning a variable, calling it an invite, right? I now said hi is the name of the variable, right? I now added the hi to F. I now added it to the rest of my statement. So that means once I print this invite, Python is going to is a for loop, right? It's going to loop everything that is in this list. So like I mentioned, practice, 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 and pay attention to these. It's part of our assignment. Pay attention to it. Let's go to our next exercise, number 2. Now this is very interesting as well. So age is equals to, let me clear this out. Age is equal to 18, right? Remember this is a variable, right? I'm assigning 18 to this age. So that means anytime I mention age, Python know what the age that I'm talking about now. It knows that I'm referring to 18. I'm saying age is equals to 18. Old enough to get driving license is equals to age greater or equal to 17. Print old enough to get driving license. Do we understand this code? First thing is that I assign this 18 to as a variable as age, right? Now this is a condition statement. Old enough to get a driving license. Is this age or greater than 17, right? Greater or equal to 17. So print enough to get it, print old enough to get a driver's license. So let me comment this out. Let's run this program. What do we think? What do we think we're gonna get? Is this statement, is the Boolean statement, is it true or false? Hmm? Is this statement true or false? Okay, let's run it. It's true, right? Because number one, anybody who is old enough to get a driver's license, that means from 17 above, that means greater or equals to 17. Even if the person is still 17 years, right, the person can still get a driver's license, which means it's true. And this variable right here is 18, right? So that means this condition statement, it meets up with this condition, this age 18, right? Um, so what if this age is 12? What if the person's age is 12? And now the person go to maybe a registry, or is it registry to call it in Nigeria? Um, road safety office thereabout, something like that. But let's say this person go to road safety office or a registry that, hey, I want to get my driving license. This is the condition that they have, that anybody that want to get a driving license must be 17 years old, and then the person's age is 12. So we want to use the computer now to check if the person meets the condition of getting a driving license. Let me run this. It's false. The computer will tell them that, hey, your age is 12. The condition for getting a driving license is 17, so you didn't meet up. Um, so what if this condition is, let's say 10? Let's say government change the rules and say, oh, anybody who's 10 years old can get driving license, and then this person's age is 12. What do we think the result is going to be? What do we think? Okay, let's run it. It's true, so that means the person qualified. So practice, 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 and practice. So if um, so we know what this code is going to do. What would this do? This code would simply print what type of class does this statement belongs to, right? To print what, because type, remember type is what we always use to check which type of class that value belongs to. So let's check it. So let's comment this out. No, let's leave it. If we run it, it's going to tell us class is Boolean, right? It's Boolean. We're dealing with Boolean expression. So practice, practice, practice. Let's go to our next example. Number 3. So let's clear this out. So okay, so let's try to read this. This is, as we said, our x is equal to 4.5, and then if x is 2 or greater than or equals to 0, print x. We now have this statement at the end of it. It's even. It's even. This is a string. We remember this is a string. Print, did you know that 2 is the only even number that is prime? Else. Now, this was the else statement that I was telling us the other time, that First, we have to first check the condition of the if, right? If we meet the condition of the if, that's good. Our program is going to end there. But if we then meet the condition of the if there is else statement that follows that if, that means going to check for the next thing. What should I do next? Like the example that I gave to us, take 100 naira, go and buy mineral, and then if mineral is 100 naira or below 100 naira, buy it. But if mineral is above 100 naira, buy else buy table water. Same thing that is happening right here. So we are saying that our x is what? Our x is 4.5. Now we're saying, let's even say our x is 10, right? So we are now saying that if x is 2 or equals to 0, print x is even, and then else, that means x is an odd number. And then we now added this, that, did you know, this one does not, this just is something that's going to print on screen for us, right? Did you know that multiplying two odd number plus always give us an odd result? So let's try to run this program and see. So now Python is telling us that, see the result. It said 10 is even, right? Because we assigned 10 right here. This is the number, this is the x, right? We assigned 10 right here as our x. We now said if x equals to 2 or, is equals to 0, if x is 2 or equals to 0, print the value of this x. What is this x? 10 for us. And say that x is even, which means 10 is even, right? And print this. This is just a string that's going to print on screen for us. We now said else print x is odd. So let's check an odd number. Let's do 9. We know 9 is an odd number, right? So if we run this program, that means this first statement, first condition, this if, right? This if statement, our program will not be able to meet that if statement because it's not an even number. So what we are doing right here is we are declaring x as an even numbers. That any number that is even, right, print it as even. So we know 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. They are not even, they are even numbers, right? But odd number is 1, 3, 5, 7. So that means 9 right here is an odd number. Our program will first check this first condition that 9, you are not an even number, right? And then it's going to end there. It's not going to print this even number. But now we are progressing, we are moving forward. We are saying that if not, which is the else, do this for us. So if our program check in and see that, oh, this is not an even number, it will continue with this condition and do what we want in this, the condition that we have assigned for this else condition. So let's try it. So we've put 9 right here. Let's run this program. Let's clear this out. Let's run it. You see, it said 9 is odd. You now continue. You didn't know that multiplying. So like I said, this is just a string, what we want to see what we want the computer to print for us. So now let's now use that understanding to interpret this code. I said x is 9. I said if x is an even, something that it does not have a reminder, print x is even. But if not, right, else print x is odd. So you know what? Let me just comment this out so that it will not confuse. Let me comment this out. So let me run it again. So you just give us 9 is an odd number, right? Because it has first checked this condition. It does not meet this condition. Now it's meeting this condition. That's why we're getting this result. So practice, 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 practice this, practice this. So let's go to exercise 4. Now this exercise, do you remember this import? If you don't know what this import means, check class 3. Class 3 we dealt with import. So import means we are importing something, we are importing a module or a library. So we're importing a module or a library that somebody else has worked on, or maybe it came with Python. We're importing it to our program to make our program works faster. We don't have to do some calculations. We just have to import that library or module. So import math. We imported math, right? Right here we said, let me clear this out. Right here we said x is 20. We are assigning 20 to x, right? This is a variable. We now say if x is less than 0, this is a condition statement right here. If x is less than 0, what should it do? Print the negative number. X is not valid here. X is 42. Print, I've decided to use number 42 instead. Then print the square root of x is this. Now, check this code very well. Okay, check this code very well. Hmm. So that means that we are saying our x is our x is 20, right? We now said if x is less than 0, you should do this. Print the negative number. X is not valid here, right? But what if x is not less than 0? Like I said, Python always check programs. You start from the top and run the program to the end. So if a statement is at the top, a condition is at the top, Python will first execute that, the one at the top, before the one below it. So right here, we have first said x is 20, right? We have first declare our x that, hey, Python, our x is 20. The goal of this is for us to get a square root, right? We want to get a square root of any number, right? We now said our x is 20, Python, but we now give it a condition that, hey, just in case if number, if x, the number we are inputting, is less than 0, print this and use x as this. It's very technical, right? But we're gonna get it, right? But it's very simple though, right? So that means, remember we said our x is 20. So what if our x is minus 5? If our x is minus 5, that means this condition is true, because we are saying that if x is less than 0, or that's confusing us, right? Let's do 10, and then let's do this 20. Do we get it now? I think it should be more clearer now. Now we say our x is 20, and I say if x is less than 10, we have first declare our x, right? We now said if x is less than 10, we should do this. We should do this. But what if x is not less than 10? Now that x is 20, so that means it's going to skip this condition. It's going to skip this condition. It will also skip this condition. right? And then it will jump to here because our target is to get a square root of x, right? Maybe if I should run it, it's gonna get error. Let's run it and see. So our result said the square root of 20 is 4.4721, which means so first, the reason why we use this import math is because of this math dot square root. If we should calculate our square root ourselves, if we want to calculate our square root ourselves, we have to type a lot of code to do this calculation ourselves. But we just imported math library, and then we are able to use math dot square root. Instantly, it will calculate it for us, right? If we didn't import this math, for us to calculate a square root, we have to type in a lot of code. So that's for that. So let's try to understand this code. So let's say our x is 5. What do we think is going to happen? We're supposed to know what's going to happen now, because there is a condition right here that said that we have first said our x is 5, and then we now have this condition that said if x is less than 10, that means this condition is true. Then we said print the negative number x, which means it's not going to print this x because x has been assigned to this. This is a variable. It's going to print what is inside this x. The negative number, this is not valid here. So Python, it will now assign x as 42, and it will now calculate the square root of 42. Let's try. Let's clear this. Run. So do we see now? The negative number 5 is not valid here. Why? Because we input 5. And the condition said if x is less than 10, that means yes, this condition is right. It now said I've decided to use the number 42 instead, which means we are printing this on screen. I've decided to use number 42 instead because we assigned 42 right here, and then it's now calculated the square root of this x for us. Now it will be using the x, the variable right here, because why? This x right here does not meet the condition of this. Do we get it? So let's try the b part of it. So it looks almost the same. So 10 right here. So let's say 20. So it's gonna be let's say 5 right here. So what we are doing right here, just read the code first. Let's see if you can interpret the code. You see, we imported something right here too, which is a random. Random is a module as well, or a library. So we will see the work it's going to do for us now. So we say x is equals to 5. Our x is 5. So if x is less than 10, print the negative number x, which is this variable, is not valid here. We now said x equals to rand integer. So this random x is equals to random dot rand integer. So this statement right here, it means we want Python to generate a random number for us automatically. Instead of us typing 42, remember this. Right here we type 42, right? Right here we type 42. If x didn't meet this condition, it should use 42 to get the square root of 42, right? But right here, we don't want to give Python any number. We want it to generate any number, right? Or Python generate any number between 0 and 100. So that's why we use this. We use this library, random library. So we do x equals to random dot rand integer. We now give it a value from 0 to 100. So if we give it value from 0 to 500. So it's going to pick any number between 0 and 500. So we now said print, I have desired to use the number x instead. Print the square root of x. So let's try it. You see, it's print, it's use number 27 instead, right? It used 27 because x didn't meet the condition of these 10. If we should run the program again, it's going to generate a new number. If we should run the program again, it's going to generate a new number. We'll see. It generated 166. It's used 166 now because it's on random, right? It's on random. Let's run the program again. It generated 183. It's on random. Let's run the program again. It's 191. Let's run the program again. It's 47. Let's run the program again. 290. So because it is random, it's going to keep generating a random number. Because x, then the condition right here is not fulfilled, and we are using random number right here. So what if x right here is 50? What do we think is going to happen? If x is 50 right here, that means this condition is true, and then it's going to ignore this and calculate the square root of 50 for us. Let's try. You see, when we said the square root of 50 is this. Why? Because the condition right here is true. Do we get it? Practice, 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 practice. So number 5. So let's try this as well. This is very interesting as well. So let's clear this. So this is if statement. Right here we use if statement, we use if statement, and we use else statement. So we're going to understand them right now. So this code is to check the temperature. We said the temperature is 25, right? Our temperature is 25. This is a variable. We are assigning 25 to this temperature. We now said if temperature is greater than 30, do we see? If the temperature is greater than 30, print this, it is hot outside. We now said if temperature is less than 10, print it is cold outside. We now said else, print it is nice outside. So if we should enter 25, what result do we think we should get? Let's think about it. Now these are 3 conditions that we are assigning here. Is the 3 conditions. Number 1 is if statement, number 2 is if statement, and the last one is else statement, right? The first one said if temperature, our temperature is 25, right? I said if temperature is 30, is greater than 30, print this. If temperature is less than 10, print this. Else, print. Let's think about it first. What result do we understand the code at all? Okay, so let's first interpret the code. If temperature is greater than 30, so that means if our temperature is 30, 31, 32, upward, to 100, up to infinite number, we're going to have it's hot outside. And if the temperature is less than 10, we're going to, if the temperature is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 1, we're going to have it is cold outside. Else, so this else means a number in between that is less than 30 and greater than 10. So that this is this third statement, because if it is greater than 30, it's going to be hot. If it is less than 10, it's going to be cold. So now our temperature is 25. So the result, we should know the result by now. So let's run it. It is nice outside. Why? Because this our temperature right now is 25. It is not up to 30, and it is not lesser than 10. So night nice outside. What if it is 500? What do we think we're gonna get? If our temperature is showing 500, no temperature can show 500. The person is gonna burn. So the result will be it is hot. Yes, it is hot outside. So practice, 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 practice this. Let's check this number 6. Um, number equals to integer. Okay, number equals to integer. This is okay. So this program, it will prompt you to enter a number yourself. So we said number equals to integer input. So this input, it means Python will prompt you. Instead of you to type in your number right here, Python will prompt you to type in your number right here. It's just like you running a program, and then I mean, you go into a website and they ask you for age, and they ask you to type in your age. Immediately you open the page, they will ask you type in your age. This is the function they always use. This input function, it will prompt you to enter something before the program can run. So that's the function of this input. So now the code said number equals to integer, right? Input. So Python will ask you enter a number because of this input function, right? So these are our condition statement right here. We now said if the number is even number, right? Print number is even. Else print number is odd. So let's run this program and understand what I'm talking about. Let's clear this. Run. You see, the program is not running because of this input function, right? This input function, because we have declared an input function right here that will prompt user to enter a number, right? So let's enter a number now. Any number we enter now, the program will now continue from here and run, right? So what number should we enter? Let's enter 5. Do we see? We say 5, the number is odd. Do we understand it? So first, the function that we will use right here, it's input function. Input function, it will prompt a user to enter something before the program will run, right? Um, so let's run the program again. You see, it prompts me enter a number because I put enter a number right here, right? So if I put enter a digit, also it's gonna ask me enter a digit. You see, enter a digit. But the main thing right here is the function, this input function. The program will not run because I've used this input function. This is a condition right here. Condition right here said if the number, it doesn't have any remainder after dividing it, um, it's an even number. Else it's an odd number, print odd number. So if we enter 8, 8 is an even number, of course. That means the condition right here is fulfilled. The program does not need to move further because this condition is fulfilled. So if I press enter, it said the number is even. So I think this should be the end of our class today. So next class we'll check while loop. While loop. Though the codes are here and the notes are here, but I don't want to go into that today. I think we have covered a lot today. So let's practice everything we've learned so far. So for your assignment, this is a while loop note, so I'll cover it next class. So assignment. So let me just close this. Let me delete this because we have not covered while loop, so don't have to do that assignment yet. You wouldn't know what to do. So our first assignment is practice, 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 practice all these codes. So second assignment, write a program that prints we like to 1,000 times using a loop. So we like Python turtles, we like Python turtles 1,000 times. So write a program that can print it 1,000 times. So third assignment, write a program that use for loop to print one of the months of the year is January till December. So write a program that uses a for loop to print one of the month of the year is January. If you print that, it will go to the next line. One of the month of the year is February. One of the month of the year is March. One of the month of the year is April. So write a program. So thank you guys, and I will see you in my next class. Have a wonderful time.